This is a part of history that should not be forgotten. Today we speak on Mekatilili of Kenya, the Kenyan woman who turned culture into a weapon of resistance. This is her story. It was the early 1900s and British colonial rule had reached the Kenyan coast. The Giriama people, part of the Mijikenda community, were being forced to abandon their lands to grow crops for the colonial economy. New taxes, forced labor, and attempts to recruit their young men into the king's African rifles threatened their entire way of life. In a society where leadership was mostly male, one woman stood up, Mekatilili of Kenya, a widowed mother and respected elder. Her courage was born from pain. According to oral histories, personal loss strengthened her resolve. When the British tried to exploit her people, she refused to stay silent. Mekatilili traveled from village to village, walking miles barefoot under the coastal sun, calling meetings beneath baobab trees. She used cultural performance as a form of protest. The Kifudu funeral dance, normally reserved for mourning, became a rallying cry. Through it, she urged her people to mourn their freedom only if they refused to fight for it. At the Kaya, the sacred forest shrine, she led mass oathing ceremonies. Men and women swore under spiritual and ancestral watch never to cooperate with the British. Anyone who broke the oath was believed to invite curses, a psychological and cultural shield that no colonial law could penetrate. Alarmed by her growing influence, colonial officer Arthur Champion ordered her arrest in 1913. She was sent nearly 800 kilometers away to Kisii in western Kenya, but within a year, she escaped. And according to oral history, she walked all the way back to the coast. And when she returned, she picked up the fight right where she left off. Though the uprising was eventually suppressed, it became one of the earliest documented organized resistance led by a woman in Kenya. Mekatilili became a symbol of defiance, proof that women's leadership and culture could stand firm against empire. Mekatilili of Kenya's story reminds us that resistance is not only waged with weapons, but with words, dance, and unwavering faith in one's people. This is Unforgotten, preserving African culture and heritage one story at a time. Make sure you
Mekatilili of Kenya is believed to have been born in the 1840s and is said to be one of Kenya's earliest freedom fighters. She was born in Mutara wa Tsatsu, Ganzi village in Kilifi County, and her birth name was Mnyazi wa Menza. She became Mekatilili after she got married and gave birth to a son, Katilili. She had 4 brothers and 1 sister. One of her brothers, Kithi, was captured by Arab slave traders in a market in Kilifi. It was then she remembered Mepaho's prophecy about the coming of the strange people who had hair like sisal fibers. The prophecy came true when the Imperial British East African Company arrived at the coast and started plundering local resources and tried to subjugate the people. One day, a British administrator held a meeting to try to recruit the Giriama youth to join the British Army and fight in the First World War. But Mekatilili was having none of it. With a hen and her chicks in hand, Mekatilili attended the meeting and challenged the administrator to snatch one of the chicks. The angry mother hen pecked at the administrator's hand, humiliating him in public. As a result of that event, Mekatilili together with her son-in-law were arrested and sent to Kisii in western Kenya and locked in prison. But on 14th January 1914, they walked free from prison and walked for more than 700 kilometers back to Kilifi on the Kenyan coast. Mekatilili continued to lead her people to resist British rule. To try and break the resistance, the British shot the Giriama people, burnt their houses, and bombed the sacred Kaya. Mekatilili was captured again on 16th of August 1914 and sent to Kismayu in Somalia. Mekatilili died in the 1920s of natural causes.